Hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another TV episode review. Guys, I just watched the newest episode of The Walking Dead about a half hour ago, and now here I am with my full review for it. Guys, I gotta say, I was really looking forward to tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. Of course, I mean, The Walking Dead is one of the only things I look forward to on the weekends, other than going to the movies, as I usually do. But, I was especially looking forward to tonight's episode because I heard that there were going to be 3 new characters coming onto the show, and since I've never read all the comics, every single comic of The Walking Dead, I was looking forward to that. So that's one reason why I was looking forward to the episode. And of course, I even made a video about the 3 new characters and how I was excited for the fact they were going to come onto the show. And so yeah, I was really looking forward to tonight's episode, guys, and I gotta say, I was actually pleasantly pleased with the episode. I really enjoyed it. It really did tie up a few loose ends, I gotta say. Really solid episode for the second half of Season 4. But anyway, guys, enough about that. Let's actually get into the actual review where I discuss everything that happened in tonight's episode. So, tonight's episode, it was Season 4, Episode 10. It's titled Inmates, and it shows what happened to every single character other than Rick, Carl, and Michonne after the destruction of the prison. So every other single character is shown in the episode. We finally get to see where they went after the destruction of the prison, what's going on with them, who's alive, who's not alive. So that's why I like this episode. This is that episode that answered a lot of questions. So guys, with that being said, let's actually get into the full review. Of course, guys, there's going to be spoilers. This is a spoiler-heavy review. Major spoilers in this review, so beware if you haven't watched the new episode, which I highly recommend you do because it was great. So anyway, guys, this is also that type of episode that doesn't focus on one main storyline throughout, kind of like last week's was. Last week's you had Rick and Carl together, and as we both know, they made it out. Rick is badly beaten, and they find that house, and then you had Michonne's storyline as well, so you just focused on those two. But tonight's episode, it literally took chunks of the episode and devoted it to several characters. So like the first 6 minutes of the episode, I would say, focused on Daryl and Beth. The next, I would say 5, maybe 7 minutes, focused on Tyreese and Lizzie and Mika. The next chunk of the episode focused on Maggie, Bob, Stookey, and Sasha, and finally the last part focused on Glenn. So that is how the episode is broken down, and I like when, I don't know if The Walking Dead has ever really done that before. I don't think it has, but that's because these characters are all separated now, and we're waiting for them to finally meet back with each other, so that's why each storyline is split up like that, and this one particular episode doesn't focus on 1 or 2 storylines, it focuses on several. So that was something that was different that was done tonight, and I liked that. But anyway, guys, the first storyline for tonight's episode was Daryl and Beth, and as we all know, at the end of the mid-season finale, Daryl and Beth fled the prison together, and they ran off on their own. Now, tonight's episode opens up with Beth's narration. You see Daryl and Beth running through the woods, stabbing and killing walkers. Daryl gets a few nice kills in there, of course. And I really liked Beth's narration because she's narrating what she wrote in her diary when she first arrived at the prison, when they first took it back in the first episode of Season 3. So I really liked that aspect because at that point, you know, you could hear the hope in her voice as she's narrating it, because she was hopeful in her writing, of course, because, you know, they felt, oh, this is going to be such a nice home for us. This is going to be a very impressive safe haven. We're gonna actually last through this apocalypse. That's what they all thought when they first took this prison, and of course, as we all know, things went to hell, things went to shit when the governor re-emerged. But anyway, I liked that opening narration with Beth. I thought that was cool. So Beth and Daryl are together, and Beth is very anxious in this episode, and you can understand why. Of course, she's very you know, she not. I guess you could say on edge because of obviously the fact that the governor killed Herschel, and that was the last time she ever saw her father. And of course, she, you know, didn't even get to really say goodbye to him. So that sucks, of course. But the thing that she's really on edge about is the fact that she wants to go find the others. That is what she really wants to do. Like, there's a scene with her and Daryl, and they're both by a campfire, and she's like, come on, Daryl, I bet you the others are still alive. She takes a knife and even goes off on her own. She's very anxious. She needs to find the others. She needs to know that they're safe. She wants to keep going, and there's a specific reason why. And Daryl, meanwhile, he's kind of... he's keeping to himself, really. He's, I don't know what the word is, right? I'm not going to say introverted. It's just he's very reserved, very quiet. You could tell that, obviously, this loss has affected him, the loss of the prison. And I think he's just trying to, he's not really expressing that much emotion like Beth is. Beth is really anxious to find everyone else. So, the two of them, nothing really major happened with them except for this one part where Beth started breaking down, and you could tell that she's going to keep going, she's going to keep fighting, and I think she even said it because of Herschel. She's going to keep fighting for her dad, because that's what Herschel was always like, the motivator. He was the moral compass of the group, but also he was the one that gave you hope. But Herschel with his several. He had several really powerful speeches in the show before he died, of course. So Herschel was always that motivator, and that is what is keeping Beth's motivation alive. She's going to stay alive for Herschel, and she's going to fight and try to find the others for Herschel, because she still has hope that Maggie and the others are alive. And so Daryl and Beth take off. So that's really it for that storyline. So then we cut to the next one, and this next storyline is by far my favorite one, and it's Tyreese, Lizzie, and Mika. As we all know, Lizzie and Mika in the mid-season finale, they ran off after Lizzie shot Alicia and that other guy. Excuse me. And Tyreese ran after them saying, hey, it's that way. Now, Tyreese is with the two of them, and there's a major shock. There's a major revelation at this part of the episode, and I think half of us knew it was going to happen, and the other half was completely shocked when we saw it. We see Tyreese holding baby Judith. That's right, guys. Baby Judith is alive. You know what? Even though I knew that he was going to be with Judith, and I'll tell you why I knew. I knew since the day the mid-season finale aired. I knew that she was still alive. I knew that Walker did not get her. Yeah, the car seat looked bloody, but I'm telling you, man, there's no way Walker could have unstrapped her out of the car seat. So I knew she was still alive. Everyone was saying, Judith's dead, Judith's dead. I knew she was still alive. However, the big question was who took Judith, and it turns out it was Tyreese. And there have been theories going on. There was actually a shot of the mid-season finale where you can see Tyreese running, and it looked like he was holding something. And yes, that shot did give it away that Tyreese was holding Judith. However, someone leaked one made a trailer for tonight's episode, and it leaked a shot of Tyreese holding Judith. So that was already spoiled for me. So I knew that Judith was going to be alive tonight. I don't know whoever made that. I think some a foreign country made the trailer, or I don't know, maybe Canada. I don't remember. It was a Canadian trailer. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that was spoiled for me, so I knew that was going to happen. But anyway, Judith is alive. I knew it. I think most of you know it. Let me know down below, guys. Did you know that Judith was still alive at the end of the mid-season finale? I kind of had a hunch. I mean, come on. So anyway, they're on their own, and the thing I love about Judith, because Judith has never been out of the prison when you think about it, and this is one thing that I thought was creative, but actually it makes sense. Judith is actually a very dangerous threat to be around in the woods, with Tyreese, Lizzie, and Mika, because she's a baby. She's constantly crying. Definitely draws attention to them. Obviously, it's going to bring walkers to them. So I really liked that aspect of the episode. There's several scenes where they're like panicking to keep Judith quiet. So I thought that was actually pretty genius. So I liked that. Obviously, this is putting pressure on Tyreese and Lizzie and Mika. Also, the other thing that this episode revealed is that Lizzie was the one who was cutting up the animals and tying them to the fences in episode 2 of season 4. So it was Lizzie. A lot of people were guessing that, so they were right. I didn't know who it was, honestly, but yes, it was Lizzie. Because you see her at one point in the episode with a knife, and she's like playing with. There's like 2 bunnies in a tree stump, and she's like playing them with the knife, and it looked like she was like cutting them up, you know. So I'm like, damn, this girl's sick. I mean, you could tell Lizzie's definitely evolved as a character. She's definitely grown up, because in like the first or second episode we met her, she was friendly with the walkers. Now she's, you know, a lot more independent, obviously, because of Carol's influence. I can't wait to... I'll discuss that in a second. But, you know, she's also very kind of deadly, you know? I don't know. She's still young, and she likes to kill rabbits, so that's freaking creepy as hell, man. But anyway, so one part of the episode, Tyreese has to leave Lizzie and Mika because, I forget why. They just like split up, and they're holding the baby, and the baby's crying, and Tyreese goes to this area, the forest, where there's these railroad tracks. He's helping out these guys that are getting bitten up by walkers, and somebody shows up with Lizzie, Mika, and Judith, surprising Tyreese, and it is revealed to be Carol. That's right, guys. Carol finds Lizzie, Mika, and Judith, and Tyreese. And when I saw Carol, I was shocked. That was the most shocking part of tonight's episode, in my opinion. And it's also the most exciting part, because, as we all know, Carol killed Karen and David, and Tyreese still doesn't know. Rick and Daryl were about to go tell Tyreese, but as soon as they were about to, that's when the governor attacked in the mid-season finale. So Tyreese still has no clue. So when he goes to confront Carol is like expecting him to, you know, react negatively towards her, thinking that Rick told Tyreese that she killed Karen and David. But as we all know, Rick didn't get a chance to. So when Tyreese embraces her, you could see the shocked expression on her face, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Because as soon as Tyreese finds out, because I want him to find, I want to see what he'll do. I honestly don't know if he will, you know, take his anger out on Carol. Will he try to kill Carol? I don't think he will, honestly. You know, the fact is past. I mean, Karen is beyond dead. I mean, it's something in the past, but you know what? Who knows? Maybe he will hold a grudge against her when he does find out, because I think he will find out eventually. Or maybe Rick just won't say anything because, you know, Carol's back. I don't know. But anyway, when he embraces Carol, you could tell that she's very shocked that he's very open to her, and then she realizes Tyreese doesn't know yet. So she plays it smart and keeps it quiet, which I think is the smart thing to do, not to tell Tyreese the truth. So when Tyreese asks, how did you get out of the prison? Carol says, "Oh, I never made it back. I never went back to the prison in the first place. When Rick and I went out, Rick left me, and I was still out looking for food and supplies." So that's how she plays it. And yeah, so Carol is back. I'm glad that she's back. I knew she would come back. I want to see more of Carol. I want to see what happens with her. I mean, Carol has definitely grown over the series, actually, and I like that. And I'm glad she's back. I'm glad they just didn't have her completely disappear after Rick banished her. But now she's back, and that's pretty intense, especially now that she's with Tyreese. She's with the one person who she killed that person's girlfriend. So that sucks. That for her. But anyway, so now you finally have Carol. Now she could take care of the baby properly, because Lizzie was trying to like strangle Judith at one point, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this chick? But anyway, and their storyline basically ends. They're walking down the railroad tracks, and they come across the sanctuary that was teased in the trailer, the Comic-Con trailer. Remember that voice on the radio that was in the car that Daryl and the others were in? It was like sanctuary. If you arrive, survive. Hold on, I have it written down here. Those who arrive, survive. Yeah, that's what that voice on the radio said. So they find the sanctuary, the outside of the sanctuary. They see a sign posted on there, and it says Terminus. And so this is obviously going to be something big, and I can't wait for them to explore that part of the show. I'm curious to see who is in the sanctuary. Are we going to meet even new characters, and what's going to go on with that? So I really do want to know what's going to go on with that. So that's the end of that storyline. Then that was by far my favorite storyline. Then we cut to Bob Stookey, Sasha, and Maggie. They made it out of the prison together. Sasha's patching up Bob Stookey because he got shot, and Maggie is very obviously heartbroken, but she's not necessarily heartbroken because Herschel was killed. Of course, she's upset about that, conflicted about that, but who does she want to find? Of course, she wants to find Glenn. So they find like a special place to camp out, you know, a special kind of like shelter in the woods. You know, they got water all around them, but Maggie is insistent on finding Glenn. So she tells him, I'm going off to find Glenn. She wants to find the bus. She knows Glenn was on that bus when she left him, and that's what she wants to go find. So Sasha and Bob Stookey do not want to, well, Sasha's hesitant, but Bob Stookey does not want to let Maggie go on her own. So the three of them head down a road to look for Glenn, and they successfully find the bus in the middle of the road. Now, as soon as I saw this part of the episode, I'm like, how in the hell why is that bus stop, first off? And then when they go to the bus, they open the bus up, and there's a whole bunch of walkers. I'm like, how did everyone turn? Obviously, that's unknown. We'll never know why everyone on that bus turned. Everyone who was on that bus, all the former Woodbury citizens, who joined the prison group, they all turned. They're all zombies. So Maggie is insistent on finding Glenn and making sure that he is he's still alive. She wants to see if Glenn is in the bus, if he is one of the zombies, if he's one of the walkers. So they go through every zombie. Maggie is hysterical. She is just on edge completely. She is terrified to find Glenn. That is her husband, and she does not want to find Glenn as a zombie. So they take out all the walkers. Pretty impressive kills, and Maggie gets into the bus, kills 2 more walkers, and Glenn is not there. So she breaks down crying and, you know, starts kind of, you know, throws like a laugh in there because she is so relieved that Glenn is alive. Very good performance by Lauren Cohan in this episode, in that scene particularly. You could definitely feel the sadness because she's still depressed that Glenn is gone. She doesn't know where he is. Also mixed with the happiness, the relief that Glenn is still out there. He's not a zombie. So that was probably the least exciting, one of the least exciting storylines of the episode. Nothing really too exciting happened in that part. Yeah. So then the final storyline is Glenn. We see Glenn on this like ledge, right? And he's like passed out. And this is the last part of the episode, and he wakes up, and you see all the walkers below him, and we're like, where the hell is Glenn? First off, I was wondering, where was Glenn? Why was he not on the bus, or did he get away? That's what I thought when Maggie didn't find him. However, it turns out that Glenn was still in the prison. The ledge that Glenn is laying on is that balcony ledge, you know, that the characters have gone on. The one that was shot apart and ripped in half by the tank. The very last shot the tank fired, it destroyed that walkway, that ledge, and Glenn is laying down on that ledge, and there are a bunch of walkers below him. So it turns out Glenn got off the bus and went into the prison, not only to help the others, to try to see whoever else could help, but also, I'm assuming, to look for Maggie. And that's where Glenn was. So that was actually smart of Glenn to do, because he probably would have gotten bitten on the bus. However, I'm pretty sure, all the Woodbury citizens, they were probably useless. So that's why they all turned and got bitten, or whatever. They all turned. But I'm sure Glenn could have even fought them off, even though he's still in that condition, because he's still suffering from that flu, that illness that he had. So still dealing with that. But Glenn goes back into the prison, the actual prison, which is completely overrun. We see more of the prison. So yes, the prison is still there. That was great. And he starts gathering supplies. He sees a picture of Maggie. It motivates him to go after and go look for Maggie. And he pulls out the riot gear. I'm like, yeah, riot gear. Glenn is back. That is awesome. So Glenn gets in the riot gear bodysuit, suits up, and gets a whole bunch of supplies with him and leaves the prison. And I love this one scene where there's a whole horde of walkers, and he opens it like a door to go outside of the prison, and he's just walking through them, and they're just like trying to like scratch at him and bite him, but of course he's got the riot gear on. So that was pretty genius. So Glenn is just about to leave the prison. However, there's this little like gate, and he looks through the gate and he sees a woman sitting down, and she's just not even acknowledging him. She's not even acknowledging the zombie. She's just looking down in her own thoughts. She's depressed, and it turns out that that's Tara. Tara, as we all know, she was the lesbian who the governor came across a few episodes back. She's Lily's sister, and she stole the prison. She was the one who freaked out during the battle and ended up leaving, but apparently she didn't leave the prison. She's still in the prison. So Glenn is about to leave the prison, he's just about to forget her, goes into that little gate, changes his mind, goes into the gate and confronts her and tells her, come on, let's go. I mean, he feels he could use her to help him get out of the prison, and he does. And she's just very depressed, and she's very quiet. She regrets, I think she really regretted the fact that she listen to the governor, and because obviously you see where that led them, and she's very I don't know what the word is. Yeah, I said depressed. So yeah, that's basically it. And Tara is that's why she's very quiet, because she trusted the governor. Everybody trusted the governor. In the end, she got screwed. Her girlfriend is dead. Alicia was shot. And also, she reveals to Glenn at some point that she saw Lily in the field. She's claiming that Lily wasn't supposed to be there. As you all know, Lily came back with Megan, and the governor shot Megan. But apparently, Lily was overswarmed by walkers, and I guess she was eaten alive, and she's dead. So I kind of expected that, because you know what? Megan is dead because Lily's a shit mother. Sorry to say that, but she was. She shot and killed the governor, so you know what? I guess Lily felt there was really nothing left, so she just gave up. So Tara is just really upset, and she's shocked that Glenn is actually helping her, that he wants her to go with him, because she's like, dude, I just showed up with the governor. I was here trying to take this prison from you. I am part of the reason why this prison is dead, and you want me to come with you. But you know what? Glenn is like, I need you, and she decides to go with him. I think at this point she was just surprised that Glenn, trusted her basically and wanted her to come with him, even though she did that horrible thing and joined the governor, and they tried to take the prison from them. But the two of them get out of the prison, they get onto a road, and this is one of the saddest parts of the episode. She basically admits that she tells Glenn that the governor killed that old man, meaning Herschel. Glenn pieces it together, realizes that Herschel's dead, tears Glenn apart, but it also, again, like it did with Beth and even Maggie, motivates Glenn to keep looking for Maggie, because he's like, Herschel would have told me to not stop believing, to keep going, and that's why Glenn wants to go after and look for Maggie, and he wants Tara to stick around with him. So Tara's officially kind of with Glenn, and if everyone reunites, I'm assuming she would join the group. So she's going to help him, and they end up picking out a few walkers. This is the very end of the episode, and what was I going to say? Glenn ends up passing out. Tara takes out all the rest of the walkers, and this truck pulls up, and it's just like sitting there. And 3 people get out, and it's finally the 3 new characters, Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita, and I was waiting all episode for them. I was so glad when they walked on to the screen. I knew they were going to come in, and they finally came in at the end of the episode. I was so happy, and that was great. So they confront Tara, and the episode ends. So now, Glenn and Tara are going to be with Rosita, Abraham, and Eugene, and things are going to get very interesting because we finally have these 2 new characters, and I can't wait to see a lot from them. So that is the end of the episode, guys. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit better than last week's, in my opinion. I'm gonna rate the episode, talk about a few other things I liked about the episode, and then I'm gonna cut the video off. It's going a little bit longer today. I'm gonna give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. It was enjoyable. There might have been 1 or 2 slow moments, but there weren't as many slow moments as there were last week's. I really like this episode because it answered so many questions that we had regarding the mid-season finale, because obviously that struck so many questions with Judith, everyone else, all the prison, are they alive, are they dead, where did everybody end up after the destruction of the prison? So I like how this answered all those questions. And even though this episode didn't reunite all the characters like I wanted it to, I think it's eventually going to happen, so we just gotta wait and see for that. I thought it was definitely well directed, tonight's episode. Pretty decent Walker kills. Loved the return. I loved how Carol's back. Finally going to get that tension back because of, you know, how she killed Karen. And she's with Tyreese, which is, of course, she's with the one person who she killed, his girlfriend. So yeah, I really did enjoy this, tonight's episode. Had its few slow, tense moments, but overall thoroughly enjoyable, and I really can't wait for next week's episode, because next week's episode is going to focus on Rick, Carl, and Michonne. We're going to see them again. Looks like they're going to get involved in some stuff. And finally, also is going to focus on Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita. We're finally actually going to meet these characters, you know, and get to see what they're like. So we just saw them for one shot in the end of tonight's episode. And they're going to be with Glenn and Tara. And what else did I want to say? Again, back to tonight's episode. I really also enjoyed the fact that, not only the fact that they introduced these three new characters finally, we're finally going to get to see them, but the introduction of the Sanctuary, because I was always wondering, you know, what the hell was that? But now it's this Sanctuary. I guess it's called Terminus, or that's what was written on the sign in quotes. So, you know, really curious to see what that is all about. I'm pretty sure that was part of the comic, so definitely want to see what is going to happen with that storyline in the series. So yeah, while the characters didn't meet, I was still glad to see what happened to every other character on the show. Yes, that's really all I gotta say about tonight's episode, guys. Predictions for next week. I'm really excited, but I think that they're just going to show those storylines that I just mentioned, Rick and Carl and Michonne, and then the new characters, Glenn and Tara. But I think that the new characters are actually connected with that Sanctuary somehow, so I want to see what's going to go on with that. And I think that, actually, I think Daryl and Beth are going to eventually find that Sanctuary as well, because I think they were going towards the same way, or they were on that railroad track at one point, so I think they will eventually find the Sanctuary. They might have gone the other way, I don't remember exactly, but they might. And I'm curious to see if Maggie and Glenn are ever going to reunite. You know, are they going to find Glenn and Tara and the new characters? I'm very curious about that. So, guys, thanks for watching my review. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode down below in the comments. Are you glad that Carol is back? Were you surprised that Tyreese was carrying Judith? And what do you think this Terminus means, this Sanctuary? Do you think it's going to be good for the characters, or do you think it's going to be bad for them? I'm very curious to see what's going to go on with that. And also let me know what you think of Tara joining Glenn, because as we all know, you know, she was with the governor, so that's very surprising, but you can understand why. So yeah, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I'll be reviewing next week's episode as well as the other the other 6 episodes, well, next week's, and then the other 5 episodes. I'll be reviewing the whole end of season 4. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Bye.